NATO-Ukrainian War Against Russia, the God at the center. That's the title of this discussion. Because we are looking at the NATO-Ukrainian War Against Russia, focusing now on the God at the center. In my last video, the NATO-Ukrainian War Against Russia, vital things to know. You have been shown that the war affects you decisively, whichever nation you are in on the earth. Now, this video will show you that if you are a member of the deceived nations, you could be in peril of devastating mortal and eternal destruction as well. Also, we have been talking about this war as if the outcome depends only on the nations and militaries involved, without anything relating to God. Be ready to be surprised. For God is the originator and the exclusive performer of the war, because it is his war. He was the one that originated this war, because he was fed up with America, with its abominations. And so he stirred up the strife. And now, as you can see now, it has now fully involved Russia and NATO, which is Russia and America. So God is the instigator of the war. It is not Ukraine, it is not Russia, it is not anybody but God himself. And there are many things to say about this war. I'm glad that God has helped us to shed some light on the beginning. But you need to be aware of light, of the end too. The new world that will be created. We are all involved in this creation. For example, we can stop the war between China and Taiwan extremely easily. You are probably surprised how China was able to mediate between Saudi Arabia and Iran. That of China and Taiwan is far much easier even, because all the two of them have to be shown and told is the truth. The revelation to Taiwan that it is a hate war against the Chinese race, and that the American support is not as a result of love for Taiwan. So it's either they both cooperate or they both get destroyed. So every sacrifice will have to be made on both sides. China will have to give up the sovereignty claim on Taiwan. But there will be reward for it. The reward is that America will be completely cut off from Taiwan. It will be in the agreement. And that is what's going to benefit both Taiwan and China. And there will be guarantees for the sovereignty of Taiwan. Not like the guarantee of that of Ukraine, because Ukraine was the one that destroyed its own guarantee by waging war on Russia. Ukraine started the war. So, and if Russia, is committed to the agreement, and war is now being waged against it, it has no choice but to fight back. So, and furthermore, this agreement will be made with God. God will be guarantor of the agreement. And it will be a new world with the Chinese and the Taiwanese being bosom lovers, dear lovers, buddies. It will be a completely different world. all the cheap technology of Taiwan will be passed on to China. China will prosper. It will be happy. The two people are one people. They are one race. They will combine together and make a greater China. So they must focus on that. Now, this platform also is an educative platform that addresses other issues of life concerning living in the world, especially the many heretic and demonic doctrines taken up by the church. But to address these things, there is no more time and resources for me. And in my last video, I already made a call for financial assistance with not a single response. And I just ponder, because many people are being destroyed physically now and eternally over all these things. Many think that it doesn't affect them, that they are not in Russia, they are not in Ukraine, even they are not in NATO. But the last video has shown that this is wrong thinking. You that is not in NATO, but you are in Africa, and you see the pressure on you, to go against God by liking homosexuality and adopting it, by liking gender reassignment and adopting it. Things that will destroy you on earth and will destroy your eternal life. And there is no religion that you will hold that will take you, to heaven, to eternal bliss with that. It's impossible. So, and this thing I have shown in the last video, if it is not being done to you, once you allow it to be done in your country, you are involved. Because you are supposed to rise up and protest and act against all these things. The same way, with this video of this one now, you have another group that are heavily affected by this war, the deceived nations. Those nations say Russian war of aggression, Russian war of aggression. And part of this solution that I've just mentioned, I believe is as a result of China, condemning Russia as being aggressive, by waging the war. I've warned before that you never say Russian war of aggression, that it is a very heavy sin. But you saw what they did. That's why God has now made the sovereignty of Taiwan to stand. And one of the best things that China can do is to go back to the United Nations. If it has to sponsor the relation itself, to say that, look, the Russian war that is fighting in defense against NATO and Ukraine is a war of defense. It's not Russian war. You must undo the evil. That's just by the way. Now, I have raised up, you have seen this video now. The background is very poor, everything is poor, because there is no resource. It's just because I am moved by the evil. That's why I just decided to do it, not minding the poor background and everything. And it's a video that needs to be presented so that you watch it in its full glory and honor, and you should be able to assimilate the points much better. and like I said before, a lot of people are perishing on earth and in eternity because of this war. You see it in my last video, and here too, the deceived nations. If you are a Christian, you know about Adam and Eve. Eve was deceived, but she perished. Her seed perished as a result. So if you are deceived, Russian war of aggression, be ready to perish. How would you like for your precious daughter now, for somebody to spread lie against her? She's a whore. When she needs to maintain, to show that she's pure. And so her life will be destroyed just because of that lie against her. Because nobody will want to marry a whore. The same thing, when somebody lies now and say Russian war of aggression, which is a complete lie. I've shown you in all my sermons, all my presentations. And you too, you join now in that lie. It's wickedness. Wickedness, and God cannot forgive it. And that's why I believe that China is suffering on the issue of Taiwan now. Because you may not know, the situation has changed spiritually. And if you see my last video, I warned about Israel. Israel is not practically destroyed. Of course, you are not seeing the physical manifestation yet. But if you know any if you have any theological knowledge and understanding, you will see that it has been proven that Israel had to be destroyed in that last video. Unless they change and be 100% for Russia. They have to give up the third temple. They have to give up the Talmud, and stick to the Bible. And unless God intervenes, it seems beyond their understanding. Also, it has been revealed that even they are not Jews, that they are Khazars. So their foundation has been destroyed already. Whether God will do it physically or whether He will do it spiritually, as He had always been doing from that video, by earthquakes and everything, it's up to Him. But as for their existence, it's already over. So you need to be aware of so many vital things, like I said in the last video. And that's why we are now on this one now. And I'm amazed. I share the videos with some platforms, and I'm happy the platforms repeated the assertions there, but they did not refer the people to my original video. The original video is like a Bible. There is no way you can make reference to that you can make deduction from it without making reference to it. They have got to read the whole story, because when they read the whole story, that's when they get the knowledge and information far beyond what you could tell them. You could tell stories, from the Bible, but it's not as giving the people the Bible in their hands for them to read far beyond what you could say. So please, all the platforms, always refer back to my videos. That yes, this apostle of God mentioned this in his video. By the way, it's normal scholarship anyway. You can't overquote me. I can't charge anybody for even taking quoting everything. But you have to refer back to that original source, so that the people are directed there, and when you direct them there, when you hear it, give the instruction that they should hear. That is the light of God. You've got to spread the light of God. It's compulsory. The Bible said nobody lights a light and puts it under a bushel. You cover the light. No. You must expose the light. And it's very important, because part of the major reason why Russia is having some setbacks is because it's not fighting as a nation of light. We are going to see some things now that Russia had been doing wrong, because it had not been manifesting that light. So when it corrects those things and starts manifesting that light, it will be a completely different thing. I'm not going to shoot forward now. I will be orderly and systematic. So I'm not going to go into that now until we get to its point. So consequently, I could only address the most important issue now, the God at the center. There are so many things to say, but because this may be my last video, for so many reasons, once you know this, at least you'll be prepared of what lies in the future. So even if I stop sending the messages, the ones that I have sent should give you enough foundation to help you through. Because a lot of people are going to perish. I'm telling you the truth. It's when you watch those videos that you know that you are affected in several ways. You are affected. So, the God at the center covers everybody. Whether you are a Ukrainian, whether you belong to NATO, whether you are a Russian, you must deal with this God. And it's better that you know that God. Well, who is he? He is Yahweh God. His name has been translated as I am that I am. That's not a good translation. A year, a year, a year. I am that which I proceed to be. That's the real meaning of it. Moses said, what if they ask you your name? So you want me to say I'm the God of the mountain? And that has happened before in the Bible. Or I'm the God of the valley? No. I am what I decide to be. I am the God of the mountain. I'm the God of the valley. I'm the God of the hill. I'm the God of the water. I'm the God of everywhere. I am what I decide to be. I am what I proceed to be. A year, a year, a year. That's the Hebrew. It's from the verb to be. And if you know the verb to be, it's a complex verb. But the Hebrew translation is, I am what I proceed to be. And you can still get that from I am that I am. Only that you'll have to really get this understanding to understand that that's what I am that I am means. That I am what I proceed to be. And as a result, is the God that is everything. Is the unlimited one. Is the absolute Lord. The incredible doctor. I'm happy that we too we have been performing so many things. You see that later on, surgeries and everything, which in the past, if you say, they say, how can you cut up somebody and take out something again, the bad thing, and sew it, and everything will be normal. Once you cut out the person will die. But all those are normal things now. And they do it, we do not even feel pain. Because the original doctor already did it with Adam. when he wanted to create Eve, he applied anesthesia, and Adam slept. When he woke up, the woman was by his side. Yes, the incredible doctor is the good shepherd. You know the work of a shepherd, guiding the sheep. He knows how to guide you in that dark. So, and that's what he's doing now. In this dark war, he's guiding you through me, through his words that he has spoken, through me, not through me, through his words. It's his words that is the light that is lighting your path, that is trying to prevent you and your nation from suffering hell on this earth and hell in eternity, because that will be the portion of so many. He's the great teacher. He's teaching you now through his servant. He's the amazing student. So if you are a student in an institution and you have problems, you just go to God. He knows how you could learn it as a student and learn it perfectly. Is the artistic carpenter. If you are in the arts, be sure that you have somebody beside you, that is knowledgeable in all the aesthetics of art. I will make your work to be excellent, perfect, the best that it could be. And if you are a soldier or warrior, is the invincible warrior. We have mentioned that before. His tactics, everything. He is the supreme scientist. And you see, it's a pity that America went and made alliance with the aliens, and they promised it technology to enslave human beings, to go against God. You will see how all those technologies, will be countered. We will get to that place. They just give gimmicks, of the Americans. Dark Star. You can Google it. It's just a gimmick. It becomes completely invisible by absorbing, the color of the atmosphere like a chameleon. Are you fighting in World War I? You are no longer fighting in World War I. We are now in the Third World War. The technology has changed. It's in World War I that you need to see the plane. So what is the difference between that invisible plane and the plane operating at night? Do you see it before you fire it at it? It's just a gimmick, because it is the radar that does it. And by the time you apply light radar and composite radar, it will be fully naked. God will help you to start thinking beyond the brain and knowledge of World War I. God will give you, as his coalition, the brain and knowledge of World War III. Well, we may get to the other force science, later on, like that of time, like that of parallel universes. All these are force sciences. He is the supreme scientist. He will give you the real science that you need. So he is the chess god, the chief planner, is the positive god, is the marvelous wonder, the glorious majesty, the dreadful horror. And that is important. You must know God as the dreadful horror. You shouldn't wait till you get to hell before you know that is a dreadful horror. And there's no man of God that has not warned concerning that. Jesus Christ warned, Paul warned, everybody warned that it is a fearful thing to fall into the hand of God, because it's going to torment you and torture you beyond your wildest imagination. So if you follow all these evil nations that have made covenant with the evil demonic aliens, and they are practicing homosexuality, they are doing gender reassignment, something that is very, very provocative to God, you can be sure of your hell. And it will be a hell of the deepest torment, the deepest torture. And that's why you've got to fight the corrupt leaders that they give money. You know, it has been proven. They offer them money, you know, to allow homosexuality. Such leaders, you must put them to open condemnation and expose them as thieves and fraudsters that are merchanting the souls of their people for money, because that's what they are doing. And that's why I have stressed this thing, the God at the center. Once you know the God at the center, the God that you are dealing with in any stand that you take on this NATO-Ukrainian war against Russia, it's against Russia, not Russia is against. They are waging war against Russia. It's a war they have planned, and you can't claim any ignorance or anything. You know, once you go through my videos, knowledge is fully open. They are all detailed and supported with facts. So you can't claim ignorance. Now, another thing about this God is that He's the creator of the earth. This earth that we are living in is the creator, and He has not created it and left it. And by the way, I'm happy about India. You know, India is not a Christian country. There are Christians there, but it's regarded as a Hindu country, a Buddhist country, you know, not a Christian country. And for India now to drop evolution, to treat it as idiocy, it has dropped it from the school curriculum. Just Google it. Evolution in Indian schools. You know, a topic like that, for example, you know, will tell you that it has been dropped. It's Christian nations that should have done that. Now, a Hindu, Buddhist nation doing that. Oh, it's really pathetic. And all this false science, you know, that they give, you know, so like maybe when flood entered covered the earth, you know, the people now evolved, and some of them became mermaids, and others died. Is that it? And with the evolution, you know, they said that man evolved from apes. You know, things that you sit down and you see these things are nonsensical. I'm glad that at least a Hindu Buddhist country was able to see that, which is a great condemnation to the Christians and Christian nations that still teach it in their curriculum. And by the way, Jesus Christ has said in Matthew 6:27 that it doesn't exist. By worrying, you cannot grow. Matthew 6:27, you can see. Now, this God, apart from the creator that created the earth, is also the maintainer of the earth. They just not create it and leave it, because there are so many dangers that are facing the earth on a daily basis. You will see the picture, the space picture of how the earth was protected from a sunburst. This is the URL of the video.
Subject that was interacting with the sun. Dozens of objects were photographed and seen close to the sun in conjunction with a huge alien spacecraft, thus preventing the sun from emitting a powerful solar flare that would have destroyed human civilization. Of that I was convinced to say, and researcher Corey Good, as well as all the extraterrestrial objects that have been identified, have buffered the cosmic energy from the sun. They may have detected the first signs of the cosmic energy event that Corey and others expected a long time ago. Without an authoritative word about what is happening, the internet is gathering its own theories, and some believe it has to do with an imminent solar storm. On September 11th, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, issued an alert for the imminent arrival of a G2 level solar storm, and came a few days after the National Solar Observatory, NSO, was closed. This led conspiracy theorists to believe that a superflare was coming and that it could end mankind in a few days, but the FBI has silenced all this because they do not want the public to panic.
And of course, also you have so many protection by meteorites. By the way, not too long ago, around 2000 or so, a meteorite, fell on Jupiter, and it broke a huge chunk of Jupiter off. See how big Jupiter is, for a big chunk of it to be cut off like that. And look at all the various meteorites, coming near Earth. Some will even come. It's when they are leaving that we know that we have been near danger, because there are so many things that he has that is on the internet that shows that he has been protecting Earth. There was one time there was a comet, and God through the aliens now may raise up something to cover, to act as a shield to the earth, so that the tail, doesn't affect the earth. All the internet. I know the amazing thing. Once something like that happens, America will try to hide it, because I have said before in my other videos, God is naked now. It's not that you need faith again for God. He's fully naked. You only need faith for something that you do not see clearly. But God is now clearly seen. Now, let's talk about His power. This God that is at the center, that you are going to face in this problem of the NATO-Ukrainian War against Russia. You are facing this God right now and in eternity. Now, we want to talk now about His power. His power is beyond imagination. If you know the Earth's irrigation system, it's in my last video, I'm not going to repeat it. It shows the power of God. There was not rain, and everywhere on Earth was watered, because He had a peculiar system. Now, look at the use of the brazen serpent to heal people. People were beaten, in the desert wilderness by fiery serpents. And God's prescription, He didn't say, okay, get this herb and this herb and mix everything together. He said, okay, look, what you just do, Moses, is you make a brazen. Brazen is like iron, a brazen serpent, and you raise it in the center, so that when anybody gets beaten, you just look at it. Can you imagine that madness? And when they get beaten, they just look, where is the serpent? Oh, that's over there. And they look at it and they get healed. Could you imagine such power? They call it Nayushtan, and they started worrying, over it later on, not knowing it was just something just used and God discarded. Now, he's able to heal, to do so many things, and he's able to make you to give birth after menopause. It's a medically proven thing that after menopause, that's the end. Do you know how many women have given birth after menopause in the Bible? Sarah, the wife of Abraham, did. The mother of John the Baptist did. To the extent that she was ashamed, for them to see me, a grandmother, pregnant. So she had to hide herself, so that they don't say, grandma, what's happening with your stomach? It's funny. Is there a tummy disease? I know, I'm pregnant. They say, grandma is joking. So she had to hide herself. That's how immense his power is. What's your disease? What's your ailment? It's just 1 second with God. If he determines to heal you, that's important. If he determines to heal you, it's just 1 second. And if he refuses to heal you, you don't make him an enemy. Many people have gotten gifts that has been their destruction. So he knows the best. And if you follow him, the path that he will walk with you is the best path. Not that I must have children. I must have a good death. I must have this. I must have that. Don't treat all those things. Those things are idols. You don't need them. What you need is God. We have seen Jesus' healings. And the worst that could happen to a man is to die. Is that not so? You have seen the story of Lazarus. It's not a fable. It's a true story. They told him, Lazarus, your friend is sick. He just said, okay, all right, I've heard. And he went on doing other things until Lazarus died. And then he went. After about 3 days that he has died, now he arrived. And he said, okay, just show me his grave. Yeah, his grave, his tomb. And and he commanded the dead man to arise. And he arose. Please, know that God is almighty in power. There is nothing that you can imagine that He's not able to do. By the way, all these missiles and all these things, they are toys before Him. By the way, you know that the aliens, they have gone to the camps, American camps, for example, and they have neutralized some missiles. At the end of the day, when the war starts, they may just discover that the missiles that they are launching at Russia, they are dots. They will get there, it will not explode. And believe me, there's a very heavy possibility for that. Because God is involved in this war. It's an existential war for God. It's what I've said in my last video. It's an existential war for God. Because with this war, God has come under so many criticism. And I hope you know that God faces criticism. That was why He refused to heal the child of David and Bathsheba. And David fasted and prayed. No, he said, no, I know what my enemies will say. So I'm not going to do it. You are not going to make me to sin. Maybe you don't know that God also avoids sinning. Because it's a moral world. The laws are not laws, that God just sat down and made. They are laws, by which you pilot, you navigate, the universe. God obeys those laws too. You know what he told Abraham? This land I've given it to you and to your seed forever. But I cannot yet give it to you now. Why? Because the iniquities of the Amorites is not yet full. Their cup is not full. And when Jesus Christ was casting out the demons, they said, what have you come to do? We know who you are. Do you want to cast us out before the time? Before the time. So, well, that's enough. I have a very short time, so we just go through. And when we talk about God's power, remember the gift of the Spirit that's available to any Christian. Once you're a Christian, a true Christian now, you become a supernatural being. And you have a gift of the Spirit that fits your position, your situation. Your gift may be equations, working out equations, and analysis and everything like that. I can't go because of the shortness of the time. But when God moves you to fund the ministry, and I'm able to get a good thing, we will enjoy. We might even go, and have live discussions where you ask your questions. So naughty theological points, you express them and I answer them by the Spirit of God. And that's why all these videos are long, because I have to make sure that I analyze everything for you clearly to see, so that it doesn't seem like heresies. When I say that God gets to know, I say, how can God get to know? He already knows everything. And I prove to you where God was taught. Anyway, let's move on. Now, another thing that I want you to know about this God that you are dealing with, whether you are in NATO or Ukrainian or Russian, the God that at the center of all these things, the one that has started this war, because he's the one that started this war to achieve his aims, his objectives. He has some peculiar traits, like righteousness. He does everything right. He speaks right. He acts right. He cooks right. He cooks right. When he wants to cook now, he won't make the rice to be too soggy with too much water. Neither will he put a little water there, and make it burn, and you'll be eating, scraps, what do you call it, scrapings, not really rice. It will be all burnt, but it makes it to be just right. Righteousness. His words that he speaks are right words, the best words that could be spoken. His feelings are the best feelings. He demonstrates the best emotions in all the situations. Righteousness, everything is right. Then holiness, the perfection of righteousness. Then justice. He hates injustice. He wants you to perform justice. And when you start believing lies against somebody, that's wickedness. He cannot tolerate it. Russia's war of aggression, Russia's war, he cannot tolerate it. And you, Russia too, when they lie against you and you keep quiet, silence is consent. It's in the Bible. And I'm glad that Russians have learned and they have started, refuting all those lies, so that the people are not deceived anymore. They are shown the truth. And as a result, are able to overcome all the lies against them. Now, if you think that the power of God is great, or if you have, if you are having problem seeing the power of God being great, what about the power of man? You know what man has been able to do through surgery. You will cut somebody open, remove the baby, you cut up the person, you will sew up the person back, and the person will be alive, the baby will be alive. Go back to the dark ages. If if you even attempt to do anything like that, they will say the person is a witch and kill the person or something like that, And of course, they say, okay, maybe it's only the baby that you can save, but the mother has to die. What about satellites? Okay, the World Cup is in Russia. So we need to go to Russia, take a plane there. No, we don't need to. We can sit here in Africa, in Latin America, and be watching it. This time that they are playing the match. Because the satellite will make it possible for you. So that you can now understand why the Bible says, every eye shall see him. You may wonder, how could every eye see him? Man has done it. So if man has done it, will that be too much for God? And you can just imagine, the Chinese premier president, going to one of the primitives in either Africa or Latin America and say, you people, I love you. But you need a light. Okay, I will give you a light. Where? Up there, like the sun. Are you God? You put a sun up there, for us. I hope you know that the Chinese now have the sun. That's the power of man. Now, another thing that we want you to know is that he has some peculiar traits. We have mentioned righteousness, holiness, justice, truth, kindness, caring, love, jealousy, anger, and hate. God hates too. Because they say that God is love, and they are not able to conceive the fact that the God of love could also hate. And hell is an example. And that's why we are having this discussion, so that you do not fall into the hate of God. If you fall into the hate of God, nothing can deliver you. And I was just looking at it when Jesus Christ was on the cross and he prayed, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Well, we all believe that prayer was heard. But then I look at church history, because in 70 AD, General Titus from Rome came to attack Jerusalem because they rebelled. And the crucifixion is the way of execution of the Romans. And he started crucifying everybody in Jerusalem until there were no more trace. And as a result, he said, okay, start crucifying them on the walls of Jerusalem. So maybe that prayer of Jesus Christ was not answered. And remember that Jesus Christ is our advocate only, pleading before God. He has to state the case before God, and God has to weigh it. So don't think that you have Jesus and so you have a license to sin. Because Jesus Christ has already warned that anybody that names the name of Jesus must escape from sin, must flee sin. And these traits, like I said before, are the basis of the discussion, at hand. Because this act that the aliens are trying to destroy by destroying, the creation of God. God worked enormously to create it and to maintain it. He's still working to maintain it as it has been shown to us. Now, in the past, his enemy came and destroyed it. Adam's fall. You know about the story of Adam. Then, remember Noah's flood. What's happening now is like what happened during the time of Noah. When the true stock of human beings was almost extinct. In fact, some have said it was Noah alone that was a genuine stock of humanity. They have mated with animals, with angelic fallen angels and all those things, producing so many hybrids, just as they are doing now with lady boy. It's such a horrible abomination. Lady boy, a man with breast and with the male organ, and so many things like that. Horrible creations. So they are destroying the work of God again with gender aberration and reassignment, and collision with demons to enslave humanity, to remove man from his freedom, his joy that God has intended for him on earth. Well, I can just tell you to imagine the expected consequences, and I have used the analog of the beautiful glass house. You see the beautiful glass house? That is somebody's house that he rejoices in. Now, you see the way the house has now been reduced to. People excreting all around, urinating all around. Even a glass house, you start playing baseball in that house. Baseball in a glass house. Now, if you are the owner of that house, you can almost take a gun to shoot all those people. But if you are able to control yourself, you just call the police to arrest them and place them in prison for a very long time for destroying somebody's property. So if you as a human being could look at that, you could just imagine God now, the heart that he worked, he sweated for to create, being destroyed like that. So that's why, America, NATO, and the deceived nations, once you believe the lies, you are deceived. Russia war of aggression. Once you believe the lie, you are deceived. You are subject to condemnation, to anger, and to the hate of God. So that's why all the weapons and technologies of America could not win this war. I've said it in my last presentation, my last video. You see so many of these things there. Be warned, because hell is the abode of the deceived. So do not be deceived. Now, I need to show you that all these things have happened because of the sins of Russia. Because when you are a nation of light, or you're a man of light, you are expected to wage war as a light man, a man of light, and as a nation of light. The Bible has said you do not condone all those works of darkness, but you expose them. It's in the Bible. And the first one is there's an hypocritical colonel, on the internet. I'm not going to mention this as it is, but in an advanced guard of NATO. And yet, even the Russians quote the person as if he's supporting them. Whereas he's just softening the minds of Russians, to prepare them, as you boil a crab, theoretically, by gradually making the water boil, so that, because before they said that they are going to send Ukraine defensive weapons. Now it's pure offensive now, because they prepared the mind of Russia, to accept all those things. And there was one, the way he was talking one day about the Patriot missiles, Patriot that has been proven to be weak. I said the Patriot missile system can only shoot mosquitoes, not planes. And when the depleted uranium shells were mentioned, it's just that they have penetrative, that all those things about radioactivity is false. Can you imagine that somebody that has knowledge of warfare saying that? So it shows that it's a false friend. I would have exposed him that you are not telling the truth. Look at all the nations that they have used the depleted uranium shells, and the radioactive diseases that have generated. You are not speaking. No, I would have exposed him openly, and it's because they failed to expose him. That's why he thinks that he is hidden, and he's treating the people as idiots, as morons. Because the only way you will prove that you are not an idiot or a moron is to expose him. That look, is only a moron will believe what you are saying, that this thing is not radioactive, that the Patriot is something. Now they have bringing planes. Already the NATO planes, have now engaged in the war. Because somebody has said that it is only the NATO planes that could fire the Storm missiles. Anyway, let's move on. I've said before that when you refuse to refute false accusations, that is consent. Yes. Booker Master Kapok, yes, everybody now believes, because you fail to refute it. And you do not, they did not manifest the light on their achievements. Just imagine the insult. If Putin comes to South Africa, that he may be arrested. That's an insult. I'm happy that South Africa is suggesting that they may have to withdraw from the international court, which I believe every nation should withdraw from, because it's not really a court. It's a completely biased court. A completely evil court. I do not know what Africans are still doing there. And I hope South Africa doesn't wait till that time. Because the nation that does it in Africa, even Zimbabwe can do it. And it may give Zimbabwe, headship in Africa. Because these are things that should not take any time. They came to Africa to liberate the people from these people. And look at, they are now afraid of them. The people that liberated them now, these people are now fighting them. And they do not know that it's their duty to fully side with them. Are you supplying them with weapons? Yes, we are supplying them with weapons, because we are aligned with them. They came to our rescue, they are now being fought against, we are going to go to, for their rescue. It's an evil man that they will spare their lives, sacrifice their lives to save. And when, they are will fold the hand. I expect African soldiers, many by the multitudes, to flood Russia. I hope they will not prove to be ingrates. And I look at Cuba too. Cuba was a helper for the African freedom. But many of the nations, they have oil. Have they really made a significant contribution to Cuba? I look at videos of Cuba with those 1950s cars. Internet, the connectivity is almost non-existent, or very little. These nations do not know that it's their duty, to develop it back in return. I hope they did not prove themselves to be ingrates before God, not before Cuba or before Russia, but before God. To the extent that God may say, these people are not worth saving. I hope it doesn't happen. Now, Russia also has sinned by not standing up to NATO. And that's why NATO now dared to establish, on the border of Russia. Do you know what happened in the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis? America said it will go to war. If America says it will go to war, you do not know that it's immediate war, that it has been forced on you and you must fight it. You can't just keep edging. The more you edge away from it, the more you become powerless and defeated. It's a war that you have to fight. NATO on your border. I know. There's no compromise. And if you avoid it, the hell on earth, you will go to the hell after death. Now, not learning from history. The American Indians say that the white man speaks with a forked tongue, like the tongue of a snake. That his words apply in two ways, the truth and the lie. So that means they are not believable. And it's something that has been proven in history over and over again. Yet Russia keeps making covenant agreements. And I'm happy because when they make the agreement, they break the agreement. Because the agreement is just, to give them time to overcome you completely. And is that a nation that hopes to be by the side of God? If you are going to be by the side of God, you must show high intelligence. Because God cannot tolerate lack of intelligence. I will call it that way. I won't call it the way I should have called it. And then, you are a nation of light. You are supposed to shed light. And anybody that wants to talk, they block the person off from their communication system. Yes. And they have the right, it's their communication system. You do not know that you have to have your own communication system? Russia and China should work together and create their own platforms so that people do not bother about going to other platforms. And the platforms like this one now, look at all the knowledge and the power that is being given to Russia and to China and their coalition forces. and to the deceived nations. Because they are able to have light to see their path and to correct themselves. But if you don't have the platforms, you are not able to speak. I do not see any platform, of Russia and China, none that I know of, because apart from YouTube, that is an active platform of the others. Rumble is there. I do not know the problem with Rumble. I was able to get there once, but it's as if I was experiencing blockage. The same thing with Odyssey. And who knows about this YouTube too? Maybe they have realized, the knowledge and content of this channel, and it's not made general public, because I can't understand, why the subscription is so low. Something that people should be sharing left and right. And it's on those platforms that I read about a suggestion, I think that was on Telegram, that the rail line is the movement form of Ukraine, that a strike should be made on the rail lines a long time ago. When it seemed that the generals didn't know what to do. Anyway, let me just end this by the leadership light. The leadership are not showing experience of God's light enough. The actions of the leadership have been negatively puzzling at times. Sometimes it looks as if it is treasonous and treacherous. The man of light and the nature of light must never exercise fear, because he is working in partnership with God. His fall and defeat is God's fall and defeat. His success and victory is God's success and victory. Yet we see, but apart from all these things, we still see Russia being declared the leader of God's coalition forces. Why? Because Russia stood up to fight the God-opposing coalitions. Is Russia not the new son of God? Remember that Israel has already been destroyed because of waging war against Russia by supplying Ukraine with weapons. If you watch my last video and read it well, you know that Israel has been destroyed. It's just the physical manifestation that remains, because they have been proven to be completely illegal by God in occupying that land. And another thing that God has done is that when you look at the internet, you see people fighting for Russia that are more Russian than the Russians themselves. The way they make the fight, the Russians themselves have not been able to do that on the internet. Defending the cause of Russia with all their might, with all their power, forsaking the YouTube remuneration, going, accepting, being unsupported. And like I said before, we might not be surprised if we find one or two Nazarites among them. You know the Nazarites, people that have been specifically raised up by God to fight its wars, like Samson. The weapon of warfare that time was physical, but the weapon of warfare now is mental. So you could expect the Nazarite to be on the internet. And by the way, please check my first video. You see that some of these things that Russia is now doing, I already gave the suggestion, like oil in petro yuan and petro ruble and in native currencies. So many things. So as a nation of light, you must manifest light fully without fear. Because the power that is with you is beyond imagination. You may just look at yourself as being little. But the light, the power that is supporting you is very great and very enormous. Well, this is the final call. You have to do the work of a light man by subscribing, by liking. When you like now, it goes into the algorithm and it pushes the video more. And then you have to share with instructions to share. When you share, you instruct the person you are sharing to, instruct the people that you two are, are sharing, are going to share the video, to share to others. And finally, assist in IV prayers too. This is a big work. I practically have to do everything. I taught myself video editing. I'm the one doing the recording, everything. And it's too much. And I hope people will rush now, for the financial support. I have given my bank details again. Go to your bank. I can only accept 3 currencies. And it's most urgent. God bless you. Amen.